Hey, what is up there guys, this is Cobrak, and with the PvP season having just started, time to make a video talking a little bit more in depth about PvP talents and the current PvP talent build that I'm using, how it might complement this talent build, which I'm going to brush over kinda quickly because these are the main talents. I think we're all pretty familiar with a baseline Shadowburn build right now for Destro. It's basically the only viable spec to roll with, at least for PvP. Let's get a little bit of ambiance. Alright, got mouse guesser shown too. Like I said, Shadowburn definitely the go-to talent on the first tier. There's no real competition until Incinerate and Chaos Bolt's damage gets buffed, potentially making a backdraft spec viable. For now, it's all about Shadowburn. You really can't do without it in PvP. Next tier here, I did spend some time trying out Reverse Entropy. I've actually tried out a lot of different talent builds as well, so I feel like this one is fairly refined. Reverse Entropy, I was trying to get some use out of Chaos Bolt by reducing the cast time by 0.5 seconds. It goes to around 2.1 second cast time in PvP. I was trying to use Fell Fisher, right? For the Mortal Strike debuff, but we'll get to this in just a little bit. It turned out that even with like a 2.1 second cast time, Chaos Bolt is still really just uncastable, or just not worth casting at all in a lot of PvP situations without backdraft. So hey, mana tap, it's a pre-buff. You kind of just pre-buff with this when you know that you're going to burst reasonably soon. Buff with it before you land CC on an enemy healer, for example. Just that you don't have to spend the global on it, you know, after landing your CC. Demon Skin, go-to on this tier. Shadowview still has a cast time, so the 60 tier Soul Harvest is just, you just have to pick it, basically. Next tier down we have Dark Pact. Insanely strong, another must-have talent. Next tier down, something a bit more interesting happens. You can actually go Grimoire of Sacrifice in Battlegrounds. Why would you ever do that? Because if you sacrifice your demon, it causes Dark Pact to sacrifice 20% of your own health and turn it into a 400% shield. Dark Pact is essentially a lot fucking stronger if you sacrifice your own HP, right? It's a lot better when used with Grimoire of Sacrifice. You can afford to use Grimoire of Sacrifice in 2v2 games, sometimes, and in Battlegrounds. In arenas though, you need the fucking spell lock, alright? Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You require the damn spell lock. Having a bigger Dark Pact with by going Grimoire of Sac is nice. But at the end of the day, if your healer's just being CC chained, spam Polymorphed, spam Cycloned, all the rest of it, you know, and you can't interrupt that CC chain with a spell lock, you're gonna die no matter how fucking big the shield is, alright? This is how it's gonna pan out. Now, you might want to try out Grimoire of Supremacy, and that of course allows you to summon the old Doom Guard here. Main problem I have with the Doom Guard, I mean, its damage is good. It does have a slow effect with Cripple. Main problem I have with the Doom Guard is that it's a casting pet, okay? It makes it a lot easier for enemy healers to line of sight the pet and just kind of cast out of its line of sight. Of course, you can control your pet's positioning. Like, I actually have a keybound here to like a shift mouse button, so I can control my pet's positioning. So, you know, if this is a pillar here right in front of me, and this blueberry is the healer, I can kind of like send my pet around this way to like outwit him a little bit while we DPS and then land the spell lock or whatever, you know. You can do it like that, but it's just a real huge fucking pain in the ass to always be trying to micromanage your Doom Guard and make sure that's in line of sight of the healer. Whereas the Fell Hunter can stick to a healer a lot more easily. It also makes the Fell Hunter in Grimoire of Service a lot better for interrupting mana breaks, and when the enemy healer is trying to disengage, go for a drink. Your Fell Hunter can generally stay on the enemy healer a lot more easily because its attacks can't get line of sighted. Fairly straightforward why I prefer the Fell Hunter, but hey. If you prefer Supremacy, roll with Supremacy. The important thing is that you have spell lock. And the last tier, feel free to try out Wreak Havoc. I feel like Destro in arenas, particularly, is a lot more single target focused anyway, because you want to be playing with things like rogues, mages. So I'm rolling with Soul Conduit, but hey, try out Wreak Havoc if you want. Now for the honor talents. That's what we all came here for. Maybe some of you just skipped straight to this moment. Gladiator's Medallion versus Adaptation versus Relentless. Now, Relentless is a really interesting one. Duration of incoming crowd control effects. Just flat out reduced. By 25%. I actually had a theory that Relentless could be really good for Warlocks just because we are so fucking tanky with, you know, with Demon Skin and with Dark Pact and all the rest of it, but the truth of it is that things like Demon Hunters and Windwalkers are just doing so much fucking damage right now in both 2v2s and in 3v3s, and while it's nice just having this blanket effect if you're not the main target, right? If you're like being off-CC'd by a, I don't know, by like a Resto Shaman and a Frost Mage, you know, you're getting spam polymorphed or something, then having Relentless is fucking awesome. But a lot of the times, as a Warlock, we're so stationary, but we just end up being the target a lot of the time, right? And there's enough based in the game to warrant just using the medallion, okay? You just want to use the damn medallion. If you're getting shut down by a rogue and you're getting based all up on, generally speaking, the medallion is going to save your ass a lot more times than Relentless is, so hey. Next to your Train of Thought, Mind Quickness, and Initiation. Train of Thought, garbage. Don't even look at it, man. I mean, it's not even going to okay, we will read it. Being attacked will cancel this effect for 8 seconds. Boom, that's all you need to know, alright? That's like a DK dot, a moon, like a sunfire from a boomkin just spreading to you. Train of Thought is just terrible. Initiation, critical chance of your damaging abilities and attacks increased by 30% on targets above or at 80% health. Now, this would be good if K-Sport was actually doing good damage. This means that you could start bursting on someone once they're like 85% health or something, and K-Sport would actually gain just 30% plus damage on top of Firestone, which is like 100% plus damage. So you could be getting off like really huge K-Sports. But K-Sport's base damage is just too low to make this 30% bonus damage ever close to being worth it. And for a Shadowbound spec, Initiation is just of course awful. Mind Quickness, on the other hand, might seem like a weird pick, but it actually works out pretty good. Why would you want Mind Quickness and Haste rating when all you're doing is spamming instant casts, right? Well, Haste increases the tick rate of Immolate, thus increasing Soul Shard generation and damage, and it also reduces the recharge time. Conflagrate, look at that, we got down to 10.6 second recharge time. Pretty good, right? It's pretty good, because you always want to have Conflagrate on cooldown. Conflagrate is the main Soul Shard generator. So just having this bonus Haste to reduce our globals, to reduce the Conflagrate recharge rate, it's really, really nice. Helps us be more consistent in arenas. Next to your Curse of Tongues, Curse of Weakness, and the godsend of Curse of Frag. Oh my god, look at that thing. Curse of Tongues is awesome against casters, obviously. Curse of Weakness, great self-peel against melees, 25% reduced damage. Nothing to be sniffed at, but Curse of Frag, honestly, this tier is just amazing. Curse of Frag is just fucking too good, though. Reduce the target's maximum health by 20% for 10 seconds. That's so fucking sick, man. I mean, people have, what, 2 million, 2.2 million health right now. Or let's say that you start bursting on somebody while they're at, like, 2 million health, okay? That's not inconceivable. That's, what, like, 85, 90% health for most classes, I think. Your Rogue blinds the enemy healer. You apply a Curse of Frag to the Potato Head Warrior. Suddenly, you've just dealt like 450k damage to him in one button with a 45-second cooldown curse. Right? 20% of his current health is like 4,500. No, it's not. 400,500. Whatever, something like that, you know. It's a stupendous chunk of their health just cut off from the health pool. It makes them so vulnerable to base damage. And the 45-second cooldown is also extremely, extremely relevant. We'll get to that in just a little bit, though. Essence Drain versus Casting Circle. This is Nether Ward. Essence Drain, extremely good for, honestly, I'd say 2v2s, Battlegrounds, duels. It can be used in 3v3s as well, though. My main problem with Essence Drain is that, at least it's Destruction. Because unlike Demonology, Demonology has like a swarm of demons, right, that are constantly doing damage, even if you're casting Drain Life. Affliction is usually dotted at least 2 targets in arenas. Their dots are constantly doing damage while they drain life. Destro, we're lucky if we have up 1 Immolate. If we are under pressure, I think that we're quite lucky to have up 1 Immolate, right? That means that when we're casting Drain Life, we're basically doing 0 damage. Pretty much 0 damage, right? It's negligible damage while channeling Drain Life. We are standing still, and we are just taking it up the anus, right? So it gets to a point where casting Drain Life, okay, this talent is good if you're absolutely desperate and you're so far behind that all you can do at that point is cast Drain Life, right? But by doing that, you sort of also just lose the game because you concede all pressure, okay? I mean, this is very, very theoretical and stuff, but work with me here, you know? I feel like just using this and casting Drain Life as a Destro lock kills all of your team's momentum. And it's a steep, steep hill to climb up of, to get back into a position where you can actually win the game again after standing there and just channeling Drain Life a couple of times. Casting Circle's okay. Good for Case Bull Spec, good for getting off fears, but we do have a 1 minute cooldown Unending Resolve as Destro for an Aura Mastery, if we really, really want to get off a fear. I think that it's not quite good enough. Nether Ward. Nether Ward has... It's very much the opposite of Essence Drain, right? It's very, very proactive defensive cooldown, in the way that you can actually use it offensively as well. Nether Ward, while it might not save you in as many, like, terrible situations as Essence Drain, it should prevent you getting to those situations a lot more, right? You see a Red Paladin running in with cooldowns, a good time Nether Ward, you can just reflect a fucking Hammer of Justice, right? If you're getting cycloned or hexed by an enemy healer, as the enemy DPS is swapping onto your healer, you can pop Nether Ward, reflect that hex, you can reflect that cyclone onto the enemy, and suddenly you guys are the ones with the offensive momentum, you know what I'm saying? Fucking love Nether Ward, it's so versatile, just a huge amount of potential for being both an offensive and a defensive cooldown, almost simultaneously. I think it's fucking awesome. Maybe I'll be proven wrong and Essence Drain will end up just being the go-to, even for Destro, but I find that kind of hard to see. I'm going to be trying out Nether Ward for the time being. Alright, in the next tier, going from the awesome cases tier, this next tier is the mediocre tier, alright? This tier is fucking awful. Incineration. Incinerate refreshes the duration of your immolate. Can you believe that that is actually better than Fellfisher right now? Can you believe that shit? Incinerate refreshes the duration. That's like a PvE talent, but you actually do sometimes cast and incinerate in PvP. Unlike Chaos Bolt. Like, Chaos Bolt creates an eruption of fell fire under the target, dealing shadow damage every 1 second and reducing all healing received by 50% for 10 seconds. That's fucking awesome. But there is one major hole to this spell, right? Chaos Bolt creates an eruption of fell fire under the target. That means if the target just moves off that eruption of fell fire, trinkets and just runs or whatever, you know, to get out of a stun, the Mortal Strike debuff is just immediately dispelled. That makes this talent not quite as strong as it seems on the surface, right as it is, and I just feel like Chaos Bolt is just not... Even with this, and Backdraft, and Reverse Entropy, Chaos Bolt still isn't worth casting, that's how upsetting it is, right? Cremation. Conflagrate deals an additional 9% of the target's total health in fire damage, but now consumes Immolate. This is another one of those talents where I've picked it, but I'm sort of not even... I might actually end up swapping back to Incineration, because it feels like a nerf sometimes, alright? Getting up double Immolates in Arena, with like Havoc, Immolate, and then you spam out some Shadowbends and stuff, and cleave a little bit of damage every now and again, while you're not like particularly bursting one target. That's nice. Having up double Immolates does a bit of spread damage, and boosts your soul shard generation through the roof, right? It's fucking awesome. Problem is, in Arena, if your Conflagrate is ever sitting on 2 full charges, you're doing something wrong. Conflagrate should always be on cooldown. You're spamming Conflagrate all the fucking time to keep your shards as full as you possibly can, right? That seems good, because you're dealing 9% of the target's total health and fire damage every now and again, and only when the Conflagrate consumes an Immolate. Only when the Conflagrate consumes an Immolate. Problem is it worth dealing 9% of the target's total health every now and again after an Immolate in exchange for just deleting the dot component from your Immolate and the soul shard generation from your Immolate? Because that's basically what you're doing, right? You are never ever going to maintain an Immolate on a target with this for more than like 2 or 3 seconds, because Conflagrate is just that high of a priority to be spamming out at all times. It kind of turns your Immolate into a slower 2 global requirement Searing Pain, to put it like that. Because most of the time you're just going to cast Immolate and then immediately Conflagrate, right? To instantly get the damage. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's good, maybe I just haven't tested it quite enough yet, but I don't fucking like this talent, I don't like this tier. Incineration and Cremation, take your pick. Both of them feel a little bit meh in very different ways, but for now I think Cremation probably is just a little bit stronger. And the last tier, Burning Legion, Firestone versus Bane of Havoc. Bane of Havoc, this is RBG fodder all over. Curse the ground with Demonic Bane, causing all your single target spells to strike targets marked with the Bane. Not really going to work in Arena, people will just see the Bane a lot more easily. There's no chaos really in 3v3s that's going to mask the fact that a huge fucking Bane of Havoc is on the ground. People just move off that shit. Burning Legion is interesting because it says right at the bottom of the tooltip, in addition, Summon Infernal can now be used in Arena. Why? What a waste of pixels. It already can be used in Arena, right? Little bit weird. Anyway, the cooldown of Summon Infernal is reduced by 2 minutes, but the duration is reduced by 10 seconds. Duration is really only relevant in Battlegrounds when interrupting things like flag caps. Reducing the cooldown by 2 minutes makes it a 1 minute cooldown Slightly less duration at only a 2-second stun. Shadow Fury, right? 1 minute cooldown Shadow Fury. Bit weaker. Spawns an Infernal. It's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, why? I'd really like to see Burning Legion replace one of these, you know? On the Incineration, Fellfisher, Cremation tier. Because I'd actually quite like to use this, man. Because I miss fucking Shadow Fury. And Shadow Fury is just not playable right now. Anyway. Nothing really compares to Firestone. Firestone is just the must-have talent on this tier, right? Restores 2 soul shards and increases your spell crit by 100% for 7 seconds. Fucking awesome. 2 soul shards helps with your consistency in arena. It means that you can just burst whenever you want, really. And the 100% crit has incredible synergy with both, you know, the Shadowburn and Conflagrate spams, but most importantly with the Dimensional Rifts. Just making those crit 100% while applying a Curse of Fragility to a target. It's just fucking insane, alright? Now notice the cooldown. 45 seconds. 45 seconds on Curse of Frag as well. That means that every time you apply a Curse of Fragility, you can also go ahead and pop Firestone and throw out 1 or 2 or even 3 Rifts. Because the Rift is also a 45-second recharge as well. That's worth noting too, right? So if you like stagger your Rifts a little bit every time you use Curse of Frag, you can also use Firestone and a Rift. The synergy is just too fucking good to ignore. Firestone is a damn must pick, alright? So sick. So that's about it anyways. That's all of the talents covered right there. Feel free to experiment a bit and to not follow these specs that I'm detailing here. And hell, just come back to the video and leave some feedback, you know, give us all some ideas. But for right now, at least I do feel like this spec right here and these honor talents right here are probably the strongest way right now to be speccing your Destruction Warlock for the Ald Arena gameplay, which is just kicking off right now. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I don't know who I'm gonna play with. Need a damn healer, man. Pingo hasn't even done his goddamn class order hole missions yet. Oh, sorry, his class order hole question. So he's missing a relic slot in his artifact. He's only just got full epic items today. And he just seems to die immediately, where every other rested druid seems like invincible. So I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen, alright? We fucked. But for now, guys, if you all enjoyed this here video, thanks for stopping by. I'm gonna catch all you guys just a tad bit later. Remember, you can support the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing, and checking out our Patreon page, which is always linked below in the description. So cheers again, everyone, and I will see you all tomorrow. And fucking Feral the Solo.
And I outplayed this guy so hard as well in his managed like